Hey guys, it's Kyle Clark here, or K Clark KO. Um, well, apparently Death Trap is not here at the moment, so we could, we're kind of like having a little, kind of substituting him with my buddy Rock Swallower.
Yeah. I don't know much about wrestling, but I've seen it from time to time.
Just waiting on. See here. See here. I don't think it's going to be here for long, so. Okay. Alright. Let me check. So, how's everybody doing here? So, I've been doing great. Alright, so he's gonna be here in a minute.
Alright.
Right. Let's see. Jude. So how was your day?
My day's going good. I got some schoolwork to do later, but for the most part, I mean, summer's just right around the corner. I'm just ready for it to start.
I have less than, I think about around a month left of school.
I only got like a week or two. It's almost over.
When I used to live down in Florida, around my area, they let people out at like June 3rd, I think. I was laying last day. That was 5th grade, I remember. I think they changed that. May have, but
yeah, I'd rather be released to summer early on in the summer, like late May, early June, because then you get more time to enjoy summer weather and stuff like that.
So, just to let you know, being in the restream, I don't think he can hear you.
Oh,
yeah. That's gonna be a hard one to come by, huh?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. I could say what he said. Say what you said to him.
Yeah, I mean, I could. So it's a Zoom meeting, right?
Yes. I'm gonna send you the Zoom link and see if you can. Wait, hold on. I sent it to you the same one. It's the same one.
All right.
Alright, here's the guest of honor, Mr. Lord Spiral. Welcome to the show, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I'm actually on my way to go grab my wife.
How was the Divide and Conquer pay-per-view at SWF?
It was amazing. With SWF standalone wrestling and RSF, but especially LCW. It was amazing. crowd was on fire the entire time. We had a really great turnout. And, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, like, I know you have witnessed what went down yesterday or few days ago at Divide and Conquer, where was it Vince Ceres just ripped up the GTS championship. Well, what are your initial reactions about him ripping up that championship?
To be honest, Grim poked the bear, and he poked Vince Ceres a little too much. So Vince Ceres took a GTS. He did stupid things like getting fired now from GTS. So,
and he said that he would come back when he wants to or where he wants to, and well, Grim, as you see in the video, Grim said, "Oh, everybody's allowed to be in this tournament except Vince." I'm gonna have him on in like about 2 hours and a half from now. So moving back like a few months back, where you and Joe Dice used to tag team, and you portrayed him, and you had the replacement with your wife Eris in that match, and Joe Dice was like, I could defend these titles by myself. I don't need Lawrence. I think that right back at Grimomania. So
I'm gonna have to say it because I said it a bunch of times. I didn't betray Joe Dice. I did what I had to do because yes, me and Joe Dice might have won the GTS Tag Team Championship, but I did not ask him to be my partner. Grim put us together. That is Grim's fault. I am LTW. I was not GTS. So when everybody sits there and goes, "Oh, you betrayed Joe Dice. You betrayed him,"
I think you're cutting out a little bit. Hold on 1 second.
But he actually shows up to GTS. He's got his own things to go against. He's got that match with Flash Carter and Jungle Jim coming up or something like that?
Yep. At Grimomania Fatlash. It's coming up.
So he's had fun with that match because you know what? I'll be watching very closely to who wins that match because now my eyes are set on the GTS United States Championship.
Well, you are with LTW now. Tell me, what does LTW have that GTS does not?
Talent. We have the talent. We have the actual professional wrestlers that come on there. Each time that you see LTW, we put on a great performance because we know how to wrestle. When we go to GTS, it's more of, I guess those guys play wrestler. The only one there, honestly, out of I'll name, let's say 5 people at GTS that actually have the talent. Number 1 is Vince Ceres. So, he's already right there, number 1. Number 2, even though I don't really like him, Tony Cheney. Cheney actually knows, when he gets in the ring, he knows how to wrestle. I'm kind of liking him a little bit. And then last but not least, let's see, who would be number 5 on that list? Tanner Wilson.
Sorry, the internet connection was unstable. It kind of cut out when you said, the other 2, 3 and 4.
3 and 4, let's go back. I'll say them all again just so we don't hear any buffering. Number 1, Vince Ceres. Number 2, Tony Cheney. Number 3, Phil Mike Swanson. Number 4, At number 3, James Gray. Swanson at number 4.
Oh, I'm kind of getting a little static on your end. I've heard. I think it's number 4. Sorry, it was like staticky on your end.
Number 4 is Mike Swanson.
Oh, Swanson said.
And number 5, Tara Wilson.
He said Ceres, Cheney, Wilson, Swanson, and
James Gray.
James Gray. I see. Well, I gotta say I haven't watched much LTW, but I'll be invested in that. Well, speaking of which, at the same event, Divide and Conquer, it was like basically to Ace Marksman was like a flashback to Grimm's match with them at Grimmomania through that In My House match. Like where he, the referee raised his hand. Referee counted him out because he kind of thought he was unconscious. Do you think in your mind it was kind of expected to happen? No offense to Grimm, he's can you hear me fine? I think you're kind of, if you're speaking, I can't really hear you. I think it's because you're in I think you're in the car. That's why.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I went under a tunnel.
Oh, I see. So, what I was saying, that of the Divide and Conquer pay-per-view where that with LTW for GTS with Marksman against Grimm and his squad, and where at the ending basically was like a deja vu to what happened at Grimmomania in my house match. Do you think that was like kind of expected, or was
Yeah, why not? I think it was expected because you know what happens is that the referee at GTS was able to raise up Ace Marksman's hand twice, and then he did it. But then when Grimm's arms got lifted up and passed out on 2, Grimm was cheated. Ace Marksman cheated, but Grimm did the exact same thing. So how is it that it's fair? It happened to Ace, but not to Grimm. That's why I say all the time, GTS fans are biased because they all love Grimm. Grimm can never do wrong. But remember, he's not always good guy Grimm.
I see. So you're saying it was expected because you're saying GTS fans are biased towards a LTW.
Towards anybody. Towards any other company besides GTS, all GTS fans are biased.
So I've not watched, like I said, I haven't watched much LTW, but I know about your ring. I think it was the ring announcer Rich Reed, which was kind of a good touch. That kind of brought me a little flashback to some old announcers in the WWE. Well, the Vince Ceres incident was kind of shocking, hence the title of this episode. When you watched WWE today, or when you have last watched it, what was one of your favorite shockers of when you watched like an independent show, WWE, ECW, whatever you watched it out of all the shockers? What if you had to pick a couple or a few or just one, which one would you pick? It would be like the oh my god moment.
my biggest one, honestly, it was Ring of Honor when the Bullet Club was out. It was Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, and then the lights went off, and then Marty Scurll unveiled himself as the next Bullet Club member, and then both the Young Bucks super kicked Adam Cole. That right there was the biggest shocker to me, because I was like, I would have never expected Marty Scurll to do anything like that and to join somebody else, because he was always a loner. That one. What's another one? Trying to think. When Triple H turned his back on Shawn Michaels back in the old school, when they did the DX reunion and they did the the suck it
yeah, I know what you're talking about. The 2002, where he returned full time, and Triple H is like, nope, let me kick you in the gut, pedigree. It's gonna feud with you a couple years, and forgive each other.
That was one of my. Those were two of my biggest shockers, honestly.
Moving back to LDW now. There was a former WWE superstar that was attending Divide and Conquer. Former WWE superstar Gene Snisky. Have you had the chance to meet up with Mr. Snitsky?
I've been on one other show with Snisky, and that was Legendary Action Wrestling in Brooklyn, New York. And I didn't really talk to him. He just kind of walked in, and he's really, really tall, and I'm short. I'm only 5'8", and this guy's 6'7", so pretty intimidating.
So, if you were the booker if you were to put in the place of Booker and LTW or GTS, if you were putting Grimm's position, if you had to pick one or a couple, which WWE, AEW, TNA, Impact, RH superstar would you try to bring to the company?
Trying to think. If I had to choose, I'll choose maybe. I think I could probably do three. One would be Will Ospreay. Two Orange Cassidy, and three I would have said Joey Janela.
Two AEW guys and one. What is it? NJ. Yeah, him and Ricochet are kind of alike. Him and Will Ospreay. Ricochet is still being shown on television. If you watched Raw, well, sorry, I could have asked you. Do you watch WWE television?
Sometimes. Honestly, right now the WWE is kind of boring me, but I will watch it because I keep, I always like to watch everything, but I'm more of an indie person. I prefer to watch, I have the IWTV network, which is the Independent Wrestling TV network. I watch that because it has all indies. And I watch, some guys that I've shared thoughts with on it, and it's just you study. That's what I'm constantly doing. That's what a lot of wrestlers now don't do. They don't study. I study literally anybody. So if you put me in a match, let's say if you were to go and say, oh, you're going to versus Rhett Titus. I will watch Rhett Titus all the way till I wrestle him that day to know his moveset, to know his weaknesses, because that's how much I study them. I'm not a typical wrestler. I'm very, very smart when it comes to that.
Well, have you, when I brought up Gene Snitsky, you said you have seen, what was it? Have you had in the event in Brooklyn, New York? Have you seen him in the locker room, or you just had a match with him?
No, I saw him in the locker room. I was in a battle royal that night. He was in He was in a singles match with one of the Samoan dynasty guys. I forgot his name. I think it was Appa Jr. I think. Two giant dudes just fighting.
So, brings me to the next question. Was there any other WWE, AEW, or like any other major promotional superstars that you have wrestled over a decade-long career?
Wrestled? I've only really wrestled one top name, and that was Sabu. But I've been in the locker room with a lot of AEW guys, WWE guys. I've shared locker rooms with them, but I have not wrestled a lot of them because they're a lot bigger than me, and they get booked. Like when I did Evolve, they brought in like Roger Strong, but then Drew McIntyre was on the Indies. They faced him and him. Bobby Fish, they had him versus.
Wait, it's buffering again. I don't know why.
I did one with ACH and Ethan Page.
So, you have been in the locker room with a lot of famous talents that will go that. Well, have you has any like AEW or WWE superstars wanted a match with you, or chose you as their opponent? Huh?
I was supposed to pick one, and
Oh. Kind of. Oh. Next time.
wanted a match or whatever, it never happened because, like I said, getting booked, it's hard. And then I was supposed to go against once, but I got really sick. I was supposed to go against Moose from TNA, and that was supposed to be for Dragon Gate, and I got really sick and I couldn't perform.
Wow.
So.
Well, you have told when you worked at a ring crew in Evolve.
Yeah.
Well, you said there was some type of little, what is it? The cage, the little steel cage wall that fell down. And honestly, imagining some type of steel cage like that, fall down, is like some rarity that will happen. Oh, can you?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay.
Just bringing back to that cage, falling on the people, still has me still shivering because when it happened. It was like a once in a moment thing that you can never expect to happen. You're sitting there, you're in the back, you're talking to everybody, and then they just go, cage fell. What do you mean cage fell? Cage fell.
It was like the cage. That was like the cage fell a couple times, or at least like a wall fell down. Where Strowman puts Big Show through the cage wall, and Brock just been put through a wall by Roman Reigns, but having all four walls just fall down, how is that even possible?
Because we didn't they weren't really fully secure, as good as they could have been. But then when we got them back up, we had a bunch of wrestlers go out there. We held up the walls or whatever, and we held it up for the rest of the match.
At least, did the ring somewhat implode after the steel cage fell down?
No, that ring did not move.
Oh, that's a shocker because I think I saw a little glimpse of an old WCW ring, kind of being overpacked with wrestlers that just fell down, made the ring implode beneath them, because of the weight of the wrestlers, or some oh my gosh moment, superplex or some type of choke slam through the mat or whatever. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity to ever see that happen.
The ring that we were in was a old ECW ring, and that ring would not move. That thing was so secured in that you couldn't even break that if you tried.
That's like putting somebody through a table, but the table does not want to break. But if the table just decides to break itself.
Super table.
There was this was a show called Botchamania. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Where he says, "I am the table." Just where they just like put people through tables or just like botch in the ring. I know that you have at least witnessed at least one botch in your career, or at least you might have been part of one. Can you tell me like what type of botch that you have seen or you have been involved in?
I was involved in a botch that almost ended my career, actually. And I was under a mask character, and we were in a match. It was I'm trying to remember because my brain doesn't exactly work that great. It was a 5-way, and I did a tope, which is a flip over the top rope. There are 4 other people on the ground ready to catch me. Nobody besides my trainer went to catch me, and I ended up cracking my head open on a concrete floor.
Jeez.
So that, and I finished the match. I don't remember how I did it because everything went black after that, so I don't really remember. But I watched back the match, and I ended up getting put back in the ring, and I took a penta driver, and I ended up breaking one of my ribs as well.
Ooh.
Don't know how that happened.
Ooh.
And then a guy who went for a move, he went for a Phoenix, I think a 630. He didn't hit me. And then I rolled out of the ring, and I crawled to the back, ripped my mask off, and my head was just bleeding or whatever. And they were like, "You're going to the hospital." I was like, "No, I'm not."
Like a
I
broke.
put an ice pack on my head, and I wrapped the ice pack around my head. I came to about like an hour later where I actually knew where I was.
So on this, is it the same show that all this happened?
That was the same show that all that happened. Like with me cracking my head open, but not the cage thing. The cage thing was a whole different. That was a whole different show.
Yeah, I know about that, but like you kind of potentially fracturing your skull, you break possibly kind of bruising your ribs, and
Yes.
and you're like bleeding all profusely behind the mask. I mean, that's like there's another wrestler that kind of botches during his career. He didn't do it on his later career in the WWE. Sin Cara. Yeah,
Like a Botchkara.
I think people called him that Botchkara because he almost like botched his ring entrance. I think once, or was that Kalisto? Where
No, that was Sin Cara.
yeah, where he like kind of like I think jumped on the trampoline and then just like had some trouble getting in, trying to get in the ring. Well, there was like during his matches, sometimes he would botch. He was infamous, I guess, like breaking his finger while doing some type of suicide dive. What was it in the infamous match with Alberto Del Rio? Well, at least in like his later matches, no, he doesn't botch that much.
No, now that Sin Cara is going back to Mexico, I feel he will not botch anymore because he'll be comfortable. He wasn't comfortable in the United States, so it was all different. When you go to Mexico, you wrestle Lucha Libre. It's really different, and a lot of people don't know that.
Speaking of Lucha Libre, there was a famous lucha wrestler that was inducted into the Hall of Fame. His name was Jushin Thunder Liger. And honestly, I barely know about him. The only thing that I know about him is just like he wrestled in Japan and he wrestled in WWE once, I think, in some type of in NXT, just against Tyler Breeze. I was like, wow. And I looked at his age. I was like, wow, he's in his like almost mid-50s, and he's still. And He hasn't retired yet. Wow, he's gonna, I mean, like Rey Mysterio. He has his son. He has his son Dominic just wrestling now, and
Yes.
I mean Rey Mysterio. When I first got into wrestling, my older brother was he was into only heard of a few names like Rey Mysterio and Big Show. Rey Mysterio is actually still good at what he does. Occasionally, he sometimes messes up a little bit, but besides the point, he still loves what he does.
Yeah.
He finally won. I think you might have heard him and his son won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships together, which is really historical to say the least. I mean, it's like a father and son duo. That's like what is it? Dusty Rhodes and Cody Rhodes winning the tag titles in. If he was still alive, he would. I think he would go to AEW if Dusty Rhodes was still alive. I mean, as a manager, that's what happened to Jake Roberts. Roberts is not even wrestling anymore, but he's in AEW as a manager.
Yeah, Lance Archer.
Yeah, and you know what I found out? I only knew Lance Archer because I had some type of SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 game. And I looked at the roster and I saw Vance Archer. I was like, wait a second. And then I just looked at Lance Archer and was like, wait, it was a WWE? I was like, what? I didn't know that. I thought he was some other guy on the roster. Just what is it? There was an old ECW wrestler that only gotten into the ECW brand for a little while. What is it? Marcus Corvan. To notice that Lance Archer is in AEW and he was in the game.
You mean Test?
Test? Sorry, I think we just got internet connection unstable. What I was saying, to find out that Vance Archer was actually Lance Archer, I was like, wow, I didn't know that.
And in TNA, he was Lance Hoyt.
I mean, I didn't know him that much, but even though he's a little bit of a knowledge, at least I appreciate what he's doing in AEW.
He's a monster.
He's I think I haven't watched AEW in a while, but last time I watched, I think it was a little match with was it Matt Hardy and I think it was Orange. Was it Orange Cassidy? It was where they had some type of match in the ring where Hardy won. Correct me if I'm wrong, because there's wrestling that goes on throughout the week now, from Monday on Raw, of course, Tuesday for NXT, Wednesday for Dynamite, Impact, and then SmackDown. That's for the whole entire week. I was like, wow. They have done that before with WWE, where they switching from Tuesday nights from NXT to Wednesday nights. They had Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and the pay-per-view. I think the different wrestling shows kind of mind boggles me. Like an independent show in New Jersey, SWF. I don't know much of the history of it, but I know there was a lot of wrestlers that appeared in the SWF, like the Great Khali and Gilbert. Those guys. Great Khali's in the Hall of Fame. Have you heard? But
yeah,
there's a guy that I think I'm gonna possibly have on the show, and that is a guy. I think this one's a little lesser known. His name is Eugene.
Eugene, that guy's amazing.
Eugene, I think I later found I only knew a little bit about him, about like Eric Bischoff's nephew. And again, Eric Bischoff being in the Hall of Fame like he deserves. And how like really coincidental, because 20 years ago WCW ended and he was bought. I mean, I've been watching wrestling for like since about mid 2017, maybe early. But listening to all these wrestlers like talk on the mic or give an interview on live television kind of inspires me. I want like you are the inspiration for this podcast. I mean, at least you gave me the idea, and I credit you for that. I know. I thought like the podcast like just had to be some type of like get a little mic set up and like get the high tech material for the podcast, but it's just
it's a starter. It's always starting. It's just like in the wrestling. You start when you first start training, and then you get to the big league. You're gonna get all the stuff. You're gonna eventually, when you have the money, you're gonna get the new microphones. You're gonna get the soundproofing and all that. It all comes through time.
So, I mean, if you had to pick between the PG era, the Ruthless Aggression era, or the Attitude era to wrestle in, which one would you pick out of the eras? Attitude?
Yep.
So, which guys would you want to wrestle in the Attitude era?
God, there's so many. Definitely Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ken Shamrock, The Rock, the Headbangers, the original DX.
Headbangers.
The list goes on.
I think they've actually returned to WWE for a little bit.
The Headbangers came back for like 2 or 3 shows.
Like the Spirit Squad, like the what is it? Kenny and Mikey, I think.
Kenny, Mikey, Nikki, Vicky.
I mean, the Spirit Squad wasn't bad, but with some type of they have won the tag team titles. At least that's a start when they were brought in. I mean, the shocker of my era of like right nowadays was that what was it? Some type of like surprise victories in here and there. Like there was that one match that like Goldberg versus Fiend.
Yeah.
That was a shocker because I was expecting the Fiend to win, obviously, because I respect Goldberg. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, but not for when he botches and puts himself over younger talent, because he barely would even pull off the jackhammer anymore. He pulled it off on Dolph Ziggler, but honestly, if I had to send a message to Goldberg, honestly, you need to at least train more to do you need to at least train a little more on your jackhammer. Honestly, you know what I mean, because you don't pick some guy up and then drop him on his neck. No offense to him, but I think it's because due to his ritual of headbutting the locker room door. Yeah, I think he needs to stop that for his sake. He only has 3 matches left in his career of his current contract. I would like to see he's interested in fighting the Rated R Superstar, but honestly, it would be nice, but it depends if Goldberg's gonna have to pull through this and just pull off a jackhammer and just drop him Not on his neck, but on his back. Like how the move is supposed to be taken. You know, I mean, so with all these people that botch and all that, there's those stiff wrestlers that come to mind. Like, Goldberg was kind of a stiff wrestler. Well, people, other wrestlers that fought with him in a match that came out and said that, oh, Goldberg's a real stiff wrestler, and he's like, oh, he ended my career, like the infamous moment in WCW where Goldberg just like super kicked Bret Hart in the chin, in like the face area. I mean, I don't blame Bret Hart. He needs to work on that. I mean, I get it. Goldberg's trying to live his glory days.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can live if you can't do it.
You don't have to like do stiff, like go to make it believable. You don't have to go stiff like your clothesline and just like try to decapitate somebody's head off when you do a clothesline. Like I had Vince Ceres on here previously, and Vince Ceres said he doesn't do stiff, but he does snug. He makes contact with the person, but doesn't, kind of majorly bruise him. I mean, I respect him for doing that. At least he made it. He made me believe his matches were real, and those bumps and all that. With these wrestlers coming out of retirement for one time only. Honestly, with out of the people that came out of retirement, like Shawn Michaels, honestly, you could have just.
It's because it's sorry to cut you off, but it's an itch, and it sucks. The itch never goes away. That you just want to wrestle.
There's Terry Funk. Terry Funk, he's an extreme. He's a hardcore wrestler. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame or not. He deserves to be. He wrestled and he's wrestling still, I think, or at least semi. He kept saying it was I retired, and then no, he's not like JBL and just say retired, I quit, or like Batista, and then just comes back. He comes back after 4 years, but Terry Funk just fakes the retirement. He's announces retirement, fakes it. He wrestles a match, then basically wrestles on. I figured out an older wrestler, actually younger than Terry Funk, Tito Santana.
Tito, I've actually met him a couple of times. Really nice dude.
Yeah, I've seen his match with Grimm, where he faced him for the fate of GTS. That was even if he was in his 70s, he's almost in his 70s now, and he still can get stuff done in the ring.
Well, he was training in Lucha Libre. So in Lucha, they teach you to make sure your body doesn't get banged up, because when you're actually in Lucha, you're not really bumping. You're more rolling. So their body's taking.
Well, there was lots of wrestlers that, are brawlers and just like to excite the crowd in every way. And there's guys that go in the business, for themselves and go stiff. Not Vince Ceres, he just does snug, not stiff. I don't think people are going to get anywhere for stiffness.
No, you really, if you want to be stiff, go to Japan, because in Japan they'll hit you.
because Ken Shamrock isn't he some type of MMA like guy? He has like an MMA background where I think he's still wrestling. He's wrestling in I think he's wrestling in Impact right now.
Yeah, he was a UFC fighter.
I could see him against Brock Lesnar, to be honest. He still has a good physique into his 50s.
Yeah, he looks good for his shit.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Mr. Spiral, and
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
I hope to have you on in the future. Just let me know if you want to come back on.
Yeah, man, I'll definitely let you know.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
See ya. Peace. All right. So we're gonna have to end this. I'm not gonna end this here, but I'm just gonna do a little standby and wait for my buddy to get on, and wait for the upcoming Vince Ceres. It's supposed to be coming on. Supposed to be coming on later on, like in about 2 hours. Well, I can just keep this music going. So, hold on one second. You will be in wound. Let's see. That doesn't make sense. I will be in wound. Alright. Get rid of this please stand by one. And what? I'm waiting for Mr. Ceres. Why not actually play a game? And that game will be Among Us. I could have. Oh, I could have just put the graphic up. Why do I keep forgetting to put the graphic up? There you go, now it's fixed. Well, we're on Spiral. It was a pleasure having you on. So, anyway, let's play maybe a few games of Among Us until Mr. Ceres is ready for me. Thank you. Maybe I could play PSN, but I don't want the people to be bored whoever's going to watch this. I want to send a message to Grim. Grim, I respect what you do for GTS. Vince Ceres is going to be on the show, and if you want to see, we can wait and see what Vince's thoughts are on that little event that just took place a couple days ago. That was out of nowhere, honestly. Alrighty. Alright, let's you just go on PlayStation. So, but I'll still be talking in the stream. Alright. About an hour. Alright. Hmm. Huh. Alright.
Are you okay?
Let's see here.
You got it right.
Hmm.
Don't lay on my leg.
See here.
Here.
Um. Hmm. Hello. Okay, I'm gonna mute this. I'm gonna just do a please stand by thing and mute my mic for a second. you doing at the doorbell? We are the doorman. We are the doorbell. We the doorbell. Alright, let me try one more shot. And go this way. Oh, okay. Alright, let's turn this off. What? Oh no, my camera's not working because of this. Now I can't see your. Oh, yeah, I can see your camera, but apparently I can't see my own. Hold on. Hold on. You know what? This happened. The same thing that happened with Grim. Okay. Yark. Restart the Zoom thing. Okay. That might work. That definitely. What? 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 What do you, what? Alright, hold on. Just, let me look at my, okay, that's not working as well. My camera's not working. Hold on, the restream I see myself. But on this I can't. I just showed my face with Mr. Spiral. I don't get this. You know what? Can you go back into it? No problem, or I. What do you mean, your control? Alright. Wait, do you see my face?
No.
But apparently I can see yours. Alright. Let me check if he messaged me. No, BitLife. Okay. Video settings. Enable mirror effect. And hold on. Hide. Non-video. Let me check. Alright. Well, let me change the background music. Why not? So, alright. There you go. There. Testing. Mm. I think Vince already seen my face before. Yeah, Vince already seen me. Alright. Mm. Mm. Well, I have to tell you. Hey, once again, I'm here. I'm Alpha, TK Clark KO, of course, with Deathtrap, Marshall, Yar. You could. I'm still. Hey. Wait, what? Oh, he's coming in.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let's mute our mics on PlayStation first.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Vince Ceres. How are you doing, my man? Oh.
So Vince,
I don't think this microphone is on. Doesn't display a microphone. No, I don't. For some reason, it can't hear you. We can see the face, but not hear yet. Right. There's. It worked last time. I don't know why it isn't working this time. If you are joining on oh, he's trying to join back. All right. Blobbity blobbity blob. Indeed. No Shane McMahon.
does anyone want to see Shane McMahon?
McMahon Shane.
Shane the Man?
Shane Man. Oh, no.
Shane Man.
Shane Man. Yeah, definitely a Shane Man. Hold on. Alright. I think he's trying to come back in. He's trying to fix his microphone problem. Mm. As I play some chill music in the background in the restream, I don't think you can even hear it. Oh, hold on, wait a second. Vince says, can't hear you guys. I can hear it. Hold on, wait a second. Let's try this again. Alright, oh, there we go. Now it's working. Big score there. Alright. How you doing, my man?
Good. What's happening?
Nothing much. Here's my co-host, Mr. Marshall. He wanted me to bring him along, and because honestly, I wanted him to, witness a former GTS champion. well, don't mind him. He's just playing with a Shane McMahon. So, how's your day, Mr. Ceres?
It's a good day. Training all day, waiting for tomorrow, for the big show tomorrow.
So I know you were at that little divide and conquer at SWF when you wrestled the Lift Deltano. You've of course squashed him like you said, like you did
Pretty
with
much.
yeah, and the topic of discussion is you ripping the front plate off the GTS championship.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm just gonna ask, why did you do such a thing?
Had to prove my point. Nobody's gonna get in my face, talk about how I disrespect belts, how I disrespect companies. If you want disrespect, you're gonna get disrespect. And the biggest piece of disrespect I can think of was to tear that championship apart.
Well, they're trying to do some type of GTS championship tournament where, after that, when you got backstage after your match with Dalton, you apparently, after you ripped the title up, Grim just basically just stripped you and fired you on the spot. And you said in your words that you're gonna come back when you want to and where you want to.
Yep, absolutely. Listen, I'm gonna do what I want to at any time, and we'll see. I'll pick my place when I want to come back. Maybe it's when they crown a new champ. I'll just come in and run over their new champ. See what happens. Just gonna take my time and see how things play out.
So, Marshall, do you want to ask anything to Vince Ceres since you're here for the first time, meeting him for the first time?
Yeah. Mr. Ceres, how did it feel to be both the champion and the trifecta champion at the same time?
It was pretty cool. It was obviously I'm one of the few people that's worthy of being a dual champion, especially on the New Jersey end. It was just another day of business. I was able to take that belt easy peasy Japanese over at GTS. Same thing over with the trifecta belt. Just squashed a couple of jobbers, and I got myself a belt. I've had a couple of hard matches. Trifecta championship. I got a hard match coming tomorrow. I got a match with John Wayne Murdoch and Astor Morales in the triple
Brett tomorrow in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, up by the Meadowlands. And I got a show in 2 weeks where they're going to have in the IWA, the Intense Wrestling Alliance. There's going to be 4 champions from 4 different companies. And it's a summit match. So what's going to happen is, if one person's champion, it doesn't matter what champion they are. The person who's champion, that one champion out of 4 champions is going to get all the belts for that company. So it'd be the champion of every company plus the trifecta champion.
Well, like you said last time you were on, you said you would want to hold like 5 championships at once. You were capable of that.
It's coming. It's coming.
That's honestly, I've never seen that before, but I could possibly see that now. But the match that you had with Dalton, honestly, you basically squashed him, just threw him around the ring and just demolished everybody. So what's with this little guy that comes out and holds your championships for you when you came out to the ring?
This guy, I needed somebody to hold both belts. I didn't want to walk around with both belts in my hand. So I grabbed someone, put him in a hood, had him walk me out.
So we've explained that. I'm going to explain to Marshall. I told him that you don't work stiff, you work snug.
Work snug, yeah.
Yes, and it's trying to like make the move believable and stand out. So
yeah.
What? Also, we have talked about with all those times that you have gotten badly injured or whatever that hurt your career. What brings up to a little point here is there a guy? I know there's a lot of heat when you ripped up the championship belt, like the people from the US, the GTS, possibly from LTW as well. So you said you were going to come back when you want to and where you want to, but I don't know how are you going to even do that if Grim just fired you?
It doesn't matter. You fire me, you don't fire me. I'm going to come back when I want to. I don't have to be a quote-unquote employee of GTS. They'll just come in. They call the cops. They call the cops. I leave with the belt today. No big deal. Who's going to stop me?
Yeah, I don't. Well, they did exclude you from it, but they
can't exclude you because who are they going to have to stop you from coming to the ring? I exclude when you can't.
That's like excluding Brock Lesnar from a World Heavyweight Championship match.
Exactly.
So we have talked briefly about when you were on the independent scene and you faced all these legends back in the day when you started out.
Right.
And so what out of the matches that you had, or when the matches that you watched, what was the most shocking moment in whatever you saw, either involved or watched, you witnessed?
I've seen, that shows I've been at. Those were some shocking moments. I don't know, it depends, if you talk about in the ring, or if you talk about in the locker room. It's been some shocking moments. I don't want to name names, but there were 2 gentlemen, 2 guys who were big on the tag team scene when I was younger. Who basically came in, they were monsters, and they beat the crap out of two kids. I say kids, but they were wrestlers. But they beat the crap unmercifully out of two guys. Split the one kid's the heads open with a chair, hard way. That was probably the most shocking. I mean, they basically just shot on the kids for a good 10 minutes and didn't let up. So that was probably it. In the ring, that would probably be it. Again, I don't want to name names, but that was brutal to watch.
Yeesh. Like talking about blading, that's like not.
There was no bleeding in this one. That was hard way. That was
just basically being
the hard way.
Not blading but bleeding.
Oh yeah, they bled all over the place.
Jeez. If they want to keep doing that, they could compete for some type of hardcore championship if they wanted to. Any promotion if they wanted.
I think one of the guys, maybe both of the guys, have gone on to do a lot of hardcore stuff eventually.
So, out of the guys that if you would want to wrestle in the WWE or what have you watched over the years, which one would you like to face?
Honestly, I don't watch anything new, so I don't know. I honestly don't know who's who now, so I couldn't say now, like, who I want to be. I honestly don't know who's who. It still is down. I honestly don't know right now. I couldn't tell you.
Let's see.
But there's a lot. There's a lot of guys I'd much rather face that are still on the indie.
Well, speaking of the Divide and Conquer pay-per-view, there was a specific superstar from WWE that attended there, and that was Gene Snisky, which he was like some type of, I guess he was some type of brawler, but
he's a big dude, very big dude.
Yeah, he just went from. Well, last time I remember him, he kicked like a little doll across the crowd. Just, I mean, have you ever kind of faced like those types of guys that are like bigger than you, that are just like. Oh.
There?
Yes, I am. Keeps.
All right, I missed all that.
All right. So, have you ever like witnessed like some types of like feats of strength or like some types of like there's a head? Oh, there's a guy that is 7 feet. Oh, and you're just like, oh, I don't care. I could beat his ASS. I could beat him or whatever. Have you seen like a guy that is like could, I don't know, bench press like 500 pounds or something, or just like seen a guy that is like real like over your head, just like 7 foot?
Well, I mean, there's plenty of guys out there that are super strong, super tough, and super big. There's plenty of guys out there like that. I ran into the what's the kid? Ben Bishop. The kid's 7 foot tall, looks like $1 million. I did a battle royal with him back in 40-man 2-ring battle royal back in October, I believe. This guy won. He threw 40 dudes over the top rope with that. He's actually now, I think he's on the IWTV on an app called IWTV. He's on there. He actually eliminated himself. He didn't get eliminated. He eliminated himself, basically cheated my kid. So, but yeah, no, there's a million guys, strength and stuff like that, they're pit bulls. Gary Wolf, they were super strong when I was I was a younger person coming up, those guys were monsters. Yeah, there's a million guys out there. For big, you know.
Well, if you wanted to, like, what? So honestly, if you had to choose how much championships, if you had to win, how much championships would you even hold before like kind of straining yourself out? Like 10?
Give me all of them. That's it. As many as I can take, give me all.
Does that add to your collection?
I'll collect them like Pokemon. Catch them all.
So, Marshall, why'd you mute yourself? Oh. Want to ask a few questions?
Alright, I don't know if you asked this before yet. But if you had to pick somebody from either WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, and like New Japan or Impact, what company would you go to?
Well, now they're all everybody's gonna start touring again. So, the schedule gets crazy. I think it would be AEW. I think it's more of it's less scripted. You're allowed to be yourself. I think AEW would be the place. I know Ring of Honor. They're more of a pure style that I really don't work a lot of. It's obviously a great organization, but they're not my style. They're not the type of wrestling I do. I'm more of a grab and pound like brawl type guy. And WWF is too scripted. WWE is too scripted. So it'll probably be AEW.
So, last time you were here, you touched that you were trained by Iron Mike Sharp. So, can you tell me what was it like to train with Iron Mike Sharp?
There you go.
Yeah. So, you briefly touched last time that you were trained by Iron Mike Sharp.
Yeah.
Can you explain how he got you transformed you into a gigantic superstar that you became, which you are today?
I gotta ask you guys. I don't know if there's music or something in the background. I can't hear you guys.
Sorry about that. I was just setting the mood. Sorry. All right. So there's just chill music in the background. I was just that. So anyway, as I was saying, so what was it like training with the legendary Iron Mike Sharp, and how did he turn into some monster that we see today?
Mike Sharp was so Mike was moving around a lot at the time. Like he would come into the ring every once in a while. He had the guys who he had to train, senior guys that he had been training for a while. He would really move around the ring, younger guys. But yeah, Iron Mike was a great guy. He had his quirks that only people that knew him and trained with him and obviously worked with him know about. He had some interesting quirks. But yeah, no, it was great. It's one of those things that now everybody can just sign up for wrestling school. It's all over the internet. It's that and the other thing. Back then it was a little different, where it was almost like you had to kind of get picked to be in a school. Like if you showed up and you paid however much money to join the school, now they just take you no matter what your skill set is. Back then you had to have a look, you had to have the want to be there, and you had to get your ass kicked. Legit get your ass kicked a couple of times to stick around, and that happened quite a bit when I first started training.
So you have briefly stated that you used to go to the ECW shows, like when you were younger. If have you ever faced any of those ECW guys that you known that you still know in the business?
Well, I mean, I worked with Balls Mahoney a lot. John Rector. I worked with him a lot. Obviously, he's passed away now. But John and I, Balls and I were tag partners for a while on the indie, to New Jersey, and for a bit. We had a lot of fun. He grew up not far from me. We knew each other before he became a wrestler. So we were pretty tight. And so he was the one that I worked with a couple of the other guys, but not many of those guys, because when I was first coming up through the indies, ECW was still thriving and still really rolling, and those guys weren't doing a lot of indie shows. They were both solid doing ECW shows. But tomorrow at the show tomorrow in Liger, New Jersey at Shockwave, we're going to have the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, and Shane Dunklin at the show. All three ECW icons.
I could see you confronting either one of those three.
I might. We'll see. There's a chance. Trust me.
Oh, Tom, you know how extreme can Tommy Dreamer be?
Well, he's got a great match. He's gonna face Brandon Kirk tomorrow. Brandon Kirk is a wild man, in a good way, and I'm sure they're gonna have a banger of a match. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Well, moving on from ECW, have you, during your time, have you ever watched WCW?
Yeah, no, of course. I was I loved WCW as a kid. Especially, when they were still Jim Crockett Promotions before they became WCW. After they became and obviously during the Monday Night Wars, I watched a lot. I was one of those kids. I think kids. I was like 20 years old, flipping back and forth between Raw and Nitro every Monday night. Just trying to see what was next. Yeah, so I watched a lot.
Oh. Wait. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Or should we try to say something?
I lost you guys.
All right, I know that. It's just I thought Marshall. Oh. Go ahead, Marshall. Marshall.
I was just tweeting something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you wanted to ask him a question.
Or thinking. Now, out of all the matches that you have participated in, what was your favorite one?
Oh man, my favorite out of all those matches. I'm trying to think of what my favorite was. Gosh, yeah, it's hard to think of what my favorite match would be. But I guess what is really is there was a 40-man battle royal, the 2-ring battle royal this past October. Because my son got involved, who's 24 years old. He was in the front of the crowd, in the front row, jaw-jacking the kid, Vince Bishop, just giving him heat the whole time, jaw-jacking him. And Bishop went out, eliminated himself, and pushed the kid in the face and knocked him over. So that was it. That was a fun moment to see my kid get involved in wrestling. Even though he wasn't wrestling, he was just a fan. But that was fun to watch. getting to wrestle a lot of the older guys that grew up watching. Getting to wrestle guys that I had action figures of when I was a kid. That's always big.
So, if you had to pick the stipulation of your match before you pick the opponent, before you face your opponent in the ring, what type of stipulation would you want to go with if it was up to you to pick the stipulation?
In all the years I've done stuff, I've still never done a ladder match. And bigger.
I hate this Zoom. You get technical difficulties.
Probably in the next couple of months, I'm going to get myself involved in one of those. I've never done one. So that's definitely something I'm looking for.
Well, early on in your career, what decided out of all of the different wrestling styles you wanted to become like this type of brawler and just taking down guys and kicking their head off, or what made you what influenced you to choose brawler as your wrestling style?
Because I was always a bigger guy when I was wrestling. So you have to pick when you're not going to get a guy who's 6'2", 6'3", 270 pounds like myself, and I'm not going to have a Mac Classic where I'm doing a Dean Malenko match. That'll just bore the hell out of people. So what people want to see out of guys who are bigger, they want to see them just go in, punch, kick, throw people around. And that's what I was told from the time I started wrestling. There's this old adage, if you're a bigger guy, you shouldn't even leave your feet. A lot of times, if the guy's smaller than you, you shouldn't even take your bump. So that paved my way, because I was just told, hey, man, you just got to be this guy who just fights and throws people around and don't leave your feet, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's what shaped that.
Well, out of the types of wrestling styles, moving on from that,
right?
You are familiar. Of course, you're familiar with different types of gimmicks throughout the years,
right?
But and also with your opponents, having their own gimmicks. What type of gimmick do you that you like to see out of your opponents, like the Undertaker, this sinful character that is like the Undertaker, Kane, or
you cut it off again. I didn't hear it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying, your opponents bring out to the ring, when they heard the type of gimmick that they're portraying as. What type of gimmicks are kind of that were what is it called? Shocking, and all these gimmicks that you liked out of your.
I'm trying to think of. I really, when I was a kid, I was really a big mark for Ted DiBiase with the Really No Man gimmick, because basically they made him live that gimmick outside of the ring. So that was huge. It just goes back to what you like as a kid. I was always a fan of the heels. I was never a big fan of over the top gimmicks, because that's basically what killed the WWF in the early '90s. But no, I was big on Ted DiBiase gimmick, obviously Rick Rude's ladies man gimmick, things like that.
If you had to pick you had your like if you had to like retire if you had for your last match, which guy would you like to face if there's a what if situation that you had to retire after a certain match?
It would, the guy doesn't even wrestle anymore. He's an old friend of mine who I used to wrestle a lot, who used to bump like crazy for me anytime I did anything to him. This kid John, who lives up in Pennsylvania now. I worked with him a ton. We were tag team partners for a while. We always put together good matches, I believe. And other people did believe that we put together some great matches. We worked each other a million times, and it would be John, but I don't know if he's in the shape anymore to do anything like that. So,
let's see. So, well, of course, your gimmick is you're basically just go into the business just get the paycheck, and to like do the match. So you would do like types of stipulations, whatever it is. You would just get your paycheck and do the match and get out. So, what type? If you had to run, do you think that you have the capability, if like in like somewhere in the future, that you would start your own wrestling company?
I would never start my own wrestling company because it is a pain in the ass. I've worked very closely with, promoters that, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to run your own company. I would be what they call an agent, which, basically runs the locker room for the show. Gets everybody, make sure everybody knows their times, what their finishes are, just make sure everybody's up to speed in the locker room before they go to the curtain. You watch the matches, you critique the matches. In fact, I'm doing that tomorrow on top of wrestling. I'm doing that for the SWF guys. I'm going to be running the locker room for that show. Just making sure they've done their times, make sure everybody's got their stuff down. That's basically what I would do. I would just be a quote-unquote agent. I would never run my own.
So you would be incapable of running one because you would never would be capable to run one. You would.
No, it's a hassle. It's too much of a hassle.
Oh, sorry. I'm just not trying to critique you, but even if you wanted to, you wouldn't basically be able to.
No, it's too much. It's too much of a hassle. It really is.
I see. So you've rung up that you were going to be an agent in the business. So
like that again, but I couldn't hear it.
Oh, you've said that you would be capable. You are capable of being an agent.
Yeah.
So when did you first become the agent, and what do you have to go through to keep the job that you have with the agent and everything?
Not really. I mean, I used to do it for a company called EWA, Empire Wrestling Alliance, back in the day. It's just, again, you're just making sure everybody's sticking to their times. You're watching each match. Hey, listen, you guys got 12 minutes. If entrances, make sure you stick to that time. If they don't stick to that time, you tell the timekeeper, you tell the ref, cut it off. They have to bring it home. They come back. You let them know, hey, you guys didn't know the time. But if it was worth the overtime, it's good. But if it wasn't, the match was drizzling shit, and they went overtime, then you got to let them know, hey, that was stupid. Now we got to rearrange all the other matches, blah, blah, blah. And, you go over finishes with folks. Make sure if there's a finish in one match, somebody's using a camel clutch in one match, and another match isn't going to use that same finish.
All right.
That's basically information.
Okay. So the so two questions. One, what if you remember of your memory? What was your opinion about the what is it of like having like your first like what was your not last but longest and shortest matches of your career and following up that what was it? Of the have you like those matches that like they get the finish on the fly instead of it when it's scripted, but you're supposed to do your finish, but like have you ever like witnessed like some type of finish that you were involved in like that wasn't expected to happen, like changed last minute?
I had to do. There was a match. It was going back years ago, probably 2000, 1999 or 2000, where I was wrestling this kid in. I think it was in New York State, like in lower New York State, and this kid had just been trained. He was from the town. It was in a high school gym. The place was basically sold out. This was the old NWA. And this kid he wanted to do a hardcore match. And I didn't do a lot of hardcore stuff. I still don't. I'm not particular to it. But
Wait. Oh, I hate doing these Zoom meetings. These Zoom meetings keep ending after these 3. Why can't it just let? Really? This has to. All right. I just hate this. Stupid. Girl was calling me. All right. Okay, there we go. Now my camera's working. Disable this camera. Okay, there we go. Sheesh. Hold on. Hello. The other phone was going to die. Alright. Alright. I'm admitting him back in. Alright. Sorry about that. The 40-minute time. The 40-minute time limit. You gotta pay for Zoom. You gotta pay the subscription to get it longer, as long as you want.
no problem.
All right. So you were just explaining that you were having this match with this kid.
So this guy, he's a local guy. His name was Major Glory, and he wanted to do a spot in the match there. He's not colored. He played it himself. So he had never done it before. At that point, I had never done it before. So we're both kind of winging it. So all I knew was, he takes a little bit of razor blade, he takes it off, he cut the end off. So he goes to the spot, and I hit him with a chair in the middle of the ring. Okay. He drops down, he's on the ground, and I'm yelling to the crowd to make sure nobody's watching him play himself. And then it's taking forever. Normally, the ground. I'm like, hey, you're right. He's like, I don't see any blood. I'm like, all right. And then he just starts looking at himself like, wait. It's just running the bleed all over his forehead. So he gets out. And he's just pouring blood. I mean, just pouring out sweat. Probably had every all over his forehead. So I was afraid he was going to die. And he was supposed to get over it. He was the hometown guy. He was supposed to beat me. He was supposed to beat some safety with that blood. But I basically just kept him in the gut, and I power bombed him and just held him down for 3 down because he was going to die if he stayed in the ring for any longer. So that was a finish on the fly.
So you just so the guy was on the top rope, and was about to dive down, and you just hit them with a chair right in the face, and then you just passed out for a little while and just started bleeding.
Yeah, basically.
Yeesh. Honestly, if I was in that position, I was like, paramedics. I would continue on with the match, but
well, he didn't realize what he was doing. He was doing it too much. I don't think he knew what he looked like. At that point, there was just so much blood. I mean, it was literally squirting out of his forehead. With every heartbeat, there was a bit of blood coming out. So I just finished the match there. We were supposed to go probably another 5 minutes. But I took it home right there.
So moving on to the longest and shortest matches that you could remember during your career.
The shortest match was a championship match for a company called the World Wrestling Coalition. The champion was Eric Idle. He was probably about 600 pounds at the time. He's actually the uncle of Brett Titus, Ring Honor tag champ right now. And in fact, I think Brett Titus was in the crowd as a kid. At that point, was talking about it before. And he was supposed to, I was supposed to win, but he was so heavy, Eric Idle, and he couldn't really work anymore. So he's like, hey, what we're going to do? We're going to go right forward and go see the ring. Okay, he's going to cut. You're going to bend it over. And he was going to go over a move called a Robert Dropper. Where basically he lays his leg over the back of your head and you take a face bump. And he was like, well, just move out of the way when I go for the Robert Dropper. I'm going to fall on my ass, get up top of me, and pin you. So that match, literally, we got in front of each other. He booted me in the stomach, went for the rocker topper, fell on his ass, and I picked him. So it probably lasted about 5 seconds for the match. That was my shortest match.
So
and that was a championship match.
5 seconds. Like him going for the rocket drop, and then you falling. So what is the longest match that you kind of at least remember?
Longest was a tag match in Pennsylvania, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, like 2004, 2005, around that time. We did a half hour and just beating the crap out of each other. It was me and the guy John, who I just talked about, and against some hillbilly guys out that way that did a hillbilly tag team gimmick. But we did 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a long time. And you don't realize until you're in the ring how long 30 minutes. 5 minutes can be a long time. But yeah, we went almost 30 minutes, probably about 28, whatever it was. But that was a long match. I was a lot younger then. I was probably only about 25 years old. But yeah, that was a very long match.
So when you guys first got into wrestling, or like When you got inspired by it, have you ever kind of like asked yourself, have I, why not I get a trampoline or a wrestling ring and replicate the moves that I see on TV? Have you ever thought about that when you were
When
younger?
I was a kid, I had a trampoline when I was a kid, and me and my buddies, who I'm still friends with to this day, we used to beat the crap out of each other. I was always Hulk Hogan, and my buddies were always, this guy, that guy. And we used to beat the crap out of each other on the trampoline when we were kids. Yeah, but no, there's no need to do that now. There's no need. I know what I'm doing. There's no need to practice anymore. It's, I just show up to the show, and I know what I'm doing at this point. I've been doing it for a while.
So, throughout the years that you've been wrestling, has any other wrestling company, either like in the indies or main, like one of those main companies, ever like inducted you into a Hall of Fame?
No. I know. The whole thing is a new thing. It really, it's not it hasn't been a thing till recently, but I just heard that Grimm's going into the SWF Hall of Fame in July. So that might be where I take my moment to invade GTS again. So he needs to think about that before he accepts Hall of Fame induction.
Let's see. So you've touched on being ECW legend Paul Mahoney being your tag partner on the Indies for a little while. Have you ever struck tag team gold with them?
Not with balls, no. There's an old saying sometimes where a lot of guys don't need belts. You don't need a championship if you're over without one. If you're over with the crowd without a belt, you don't need a belt. And, Balls was always over no matter what. So he didn't need a belt. We didn't need a belt. The shows we did. Yeah, so, that was that thing. I've been like a 6-time tag team champion in other groups, but not with Balls, not with John.
So moving on from that, so you have been like inspired by ECW when you were younger, and there was a guy that is one of my favorites of all time. Do you think you could take a guy like Goldberg in his prime?
Goldberg, eventually became a decent worker, but Goldberg was kind of manufactured. He was protected. His run was purely gimmicks. He got shown up a couple of times, by folks who knew, who were able to work circles like Steven Regal, who made him look like an ass on TV, Goldberg look like an ass on TV, because they realized Goldberg really couldn't work. He had whatever, 5 moves that he did, he'd go home. So, of course they could have, because he was just a creation. He wasn't a wrestler. But hey, listen, the guy made money. The guy was a wrestler. The guy's an icon now. But what I'm saying is, he just wouldn't have been a hard match with a guy like Goldberg. It's very basic. Guys like Steve Regal, guys like Steve Malenko, Chris Jericho, those guys are workers, and those would be much harder matches than a match like a Goldberg.
Still sticking with that. Well, what is your opinion about Goldberg? Kind of like now, I think you might have heard this in the news about involving him. He has the tendency to botch his jackhammer. So, even though he's still continuing to wrestle, he has like what three matches left in his contract. He can't even pull off like a jackhammer on like I think you might have heard that he faced the Undertaker in some type of Saudi.
Right, yeah, no, I didn't see that match. I was interested in watching what happened. I saw the botch. It happened. The guy got his bell wrong on a pose. Like they should have stopped the match, but they wanted to keep going. When you get your bell wrong like that, all bets are off. He's older. The guy's in his 50s. Not everything's going to be easy. But the problem is, you start hurting people in the ring. People don't want to work with you anymore. And then you have the big problems. All of a sudden, you get that reputation. You got to hurting people. And nobody wants to work with you anymore. Next thing you know, you're out of a job.
Well, moving on from Goldberg, I've mentioned this. I mentioned about Brock Lesnar.
Right.
He's still an icon, surprisingly. He keeps like when he's in WWE, he always has to have some type of title to represent himself. Well, he does still put on good matches. And do you think that is there a chance that you could possibly see Brock Lesnar down the road possibly wrestle with him?
I would love to work with a guy like Lesnar. Physical, just listen, that's what we're doing. Let's run. That's one of those guys that if I got the chance, definitely be one of those guys that I'd love to work with because it's just straightforward. It's going to be a lot of impact. For a bigger guy like him up a lot. So,
well, when you were training with Iron Mike Sharp, have you ever had a match with him either on the Indies or some type of match either in his or like a practice match when you were training?
with Mike Sharp, no, that was Mike Sharp wasn't going to work with anybody at that point. He was retired.
If you had to pick a job after wrestling besides an agent, like you just briefly mentioned that you were, which one would you pick? Like a booker, promoter, a storyline writer?
Yeah, no, it would definitely be the booker. I think I would have a knack for being a booker. That's the key position, though. Everybody, all the guys, say you or love you. It's a thankless position to be the booker. But that's definitely the route I would go.
So, what do you think of the Undertaker's 30-year career that has spanned over from when he debuted with Ted DiBiase, like you just briefly mentioned, to a guy like AJ Styles who's been in Impact, ROH, and all that. Maybe not ROH, but I know Impact. But so, do you think, and if Undertaker had picked you as as an opponent, like in one-off, do you think that you would gotten good relationships with Taker?
I guess, I'm sure that this last match, I think, really have to be help. Those have to be someone they've worked with for either they've worked with for a long time, where it's kind of a sentimental match. Got to be a match where it's a guy who's the next guy on the roster, the next big guy on the roster, who's going to come in and take out the guy who's at the torch. So that's a big thing. I don't even know what was
Okay, I can give you a refresher. So this was last year's WrestleMania. He had a boneyard match, or was it a buried alive?
Oh, right. Yep. I remember, yep. It's a perfect way to go out. He gets over on the guy, and AJ Styles was, a young guy and a coming guy. So AJ Styles didn't need the rub, what they call the rub of beating the Undertaker in his last match. So, and that was probably the best way for him to go out.
So if throughout the matches that you had over the indie scene, have you ever been a guy that was your opponent's last match in the ring?
No, not that was planned. Not that anybody knew it was to be their last match. Some people it was. We just didn't know it at the time. Because people come and people go, especially, they decide, oh, this is my last match. You don't even know it. They just don't wrestle that. So there was a couple of folks like that where it's their last match, but we didn't know it at the time.
So if you had to pick to wrestle for, like you like besides WWE, since you told me, is it good? Oh. Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so besides having a little dark match for WWF, like you briefly mentioned last time, do you think which one would you pick? When the Monday Night Wars were going on, would you pick a guy like WCW or ECW to wrestle for? If you liked,
I would have been a WCW guy because the money was there at the time. They were offering guaranteed contracts. So your money was guaranteed no matter what you did. If you got hurt, you were still getting paid. The WWE wasn't doing that. W definitely wasn't doing that. The guy barely got paid. But WWF, you only got paid if you worked, if you wrestled. If you were hurt, that's why guys came back so quickly from injury. WCW had guaranteed contracts. You knew what you were going to take home every week, every month, whatever it was. So even though it failed, that's one of the reasons it might have failed. But that's where I would have gone because of that.
you have watched the likes of like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage that grew into these mega stars. But briefly on the WCW, you've known about Hulk Hogan being in WCW and using his creative control to get himself over. What do you think of like people like that, like use creative control to put themselves over and build their ego?
If it's built into your contract, you're not going to get creative control written into your contract unless you're already over. You know what I mean? No one has that message. So the guy was obviously already over. He threw more money than anyone. So he had the leverage to have. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I gotta run.
All right.
It's been a pleasure talking to you again.
You too. We could possibly see you up in GTS again, like you said. Never say never.
Never say never. I'll figure out when I'm going to come around.
All right. Take care, man.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Peace. All right, that was it. And hopefully, guys, you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Next one, Jake Cage. Or maybe Eugene.